Some houses creak, some whisper, but few ever speak back. Tonight, you'll hear the story of a home that did. A story buried deep in police archives, forgotten by time until now. This is the house that answered back. In 1998, a young couple, Ethan and Marla Shaw, moved into a quiet farmhouse outside Ravenwood, Pennsylvania. They'd just married, looking for peace after years in the city. The old farmhouse was beautiful, but cheap, too cheap. The real estate agent smiled nervously when they asked why. "Old houses have old stories," she said, avoiding eye contact. The couple laughed it off. They didn't believe in ghosts. For the first few nights, everything was perfect, until the house began talking. It started small, but one night, as Marla stood at the kitchen sink, she heard a whisper, faint, like someone standing right behind her. "You shouldn't be here." She turned sharply. Nothing, just the hum of the refrigerator. The next morning, Ethan found muddy footprints leading from the kitchen door to their bed. He accused her of playing a prank. She swore she hadn't moved all night. They tried to forget it, but when night fell, the house began whispering again, softly through the walls, as if speaking from inside the wood. "Go back, before it's too late." By the end of the week, both Ethan and Marla were hearing it. Sometimes it sounded like a woman crying. Other times, it mimicked their own voices repeating the last words they'd spoken. Marla said she'd hear her own laughter echo back seconds later, even when she was alone. Ethan once heard himself call her name from the basement, but he was upstairs. When he went down to check, he found an old rotary phone mounted on the wall, the line dead, but the receiver faintly humming, like someone breathing on the other end. One afternoon, an old man stopped by the fence. He introduced himself as Mr. Callahan, their nearest neighbor 2 miles away. When Ethan mentioned strange noises, Callahan's face went pale. "That house was empty for a reason," he said quietly. "Last folks who lived there, the Millers, vanished in '87. No signs of struggle, no bodies, but folks say the house keeps their voices." Ethan laughed it off. But Marla couldn't shake the image of those missing people. That night, when she went to bed, the whisper came again, closer this time. "She's in our room." Desperate for proof, Ethan set up an old cassette recorder in the living room. He left it running overnight. The next morning, they played it back. At first, only silence. Then, around 3:14 a.m., the sound of footsteps. A door creaks open. A faint voice says, "Ethan." Ethan's eyes widened. That was his own voice. But he'd been asleep. As they listened, another voice, deeper, distorted, whispered, "Now we're all together." Then came the sound of choking. The tape ended abruptly. They didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Ethan decided to burn the tape, but when he went to grab it, it was gone. Marla found muddy footprints again, leading straight to the basement door. It was open. Ethan grabbed a flashlight and went down the stairs. Halfway down, the light flickered. At the bottom, he froze. On the basement wall, written in fresh dirt, were the words, "We never left." Behind him, the door slammed shut. Marla screamed from upstairs. When police arrived hours later, the house was silent. No signs of struggle, but they found Marla sitting on the floor near the old rotary phone, whispering the same sentence over and over. "He's still on the line." When officers picked up the phone, they heard it to faint static and a man's voice whispering, "Don't hang up." The call traced nowhere, no signal, just silence. Ethan's body was never found, and every new tenant who's lived there since says that sometimes, late at night, the phone rings, even though the line's been disconnected for decades. If you ever move into an old house and hear whispers through the walls, don't answer back, because sometimes the house doesn't want to scare you, it just wants company. Would you pick up